everyone, today I'm going to be discussing some upcoming book to movie adaptations or book to TV show adaptations that are in the works to come out either next year or in the coming years. I feel like there were a lot of book to movie adaptations this year, and the interesting thing is, like, in trying to search them at the beginning of the year, because I did try this, it's funny that a lot of them aren't known until after. There's actually a really good article that I like that is continually updated by Vulture that lists like all the book to movies that are coming out this year, and book to TV show again, but you know, it's just a mouthful to say book to TV show, book to movie adaptations, but just know when I say book to movie, it covers everything. So there are so many on that list, but the funny thing is when I first started researching this, because originally I wanted to do this for this year's book to movie adaptations, it was hard to like get a set list of like what actually was coming out. So it seems like until they're actually released, no one really knows when they're coming out, because I also know there's a couple in production that I didn't see mentioned at all when I was trying to find out like what's coming out next year or in the works or filming at least. I tried my best to get as comprehensive of a list as I could, again knowing that there are some that have been like optioned or picked up that if they don't have like a cast really or anything moving on that front, I kind of ignored them just because there's so many things that get picked up and then never get developed. So I try to specifically stick to ones that either have a release date, have a cast, that just seem more in the works. Like for example, I know all of Emily Henry's books are in various stages of being adapted, but I only picked the one that we know has a cast and is filming, even though all of them, again, are in like various stages of script writing, producers, getting picked up, stuff like that. So just know that there probably are so many more book to movie adaptations out there, and if there's one that I missed, please feel free to let me know in the comments, because like I said, I'm trying to get as comprehensive a list as possible, but it's just so hard until they're out to find them all. Like, they're all just searched over the web, and like I said, there's still ones that I know weren't listed that are somewhere out there in the ether. So without further ado, let's look into them. I will also say, just as a quick caveat, that I tried to keep these in order as best I could, but there really is no particular order to them just because release dates move around so much. There's a lot that are unreleased, like they don't have an official date or anything like that, so things can get moved, things can get changed, and it's not necessarily like I stuck to just 2025 ones. So just keep that in mind when we're discussing these. That being said, looking at ones that are specifically going to be released as of now in 2025, the first one we're starting with is Dogman from the Dogman series by Dave Pilkey. This is going to star Pete Davidson as the villain Petey, which I'm just now connecting is actually kind of perfect casting for that based on their names. Little Ray Howry as the chief of police, and Isla Fisher as the reporter. I really like this series. Obviously, I'm not the main demographic for it, but I read it with one of my younger siblings when it was first getting released, and it's a really, really cute series. I'm always a fan of Dave Pilkey. He's the creator of Captain Underpants, and just his whole philosophy story behind like why he makes these books and how he was told that like reading comics isn't like counting as reading, and he really hated reading for so long because of that, and then taking that and turning that into something that now people who, again, kids who kind of find reading hard can enjoy these books and find them really funny. I will always be in his corner for that because I think that's just really sweet and cool. I also love the animation. I feel like much like Captain Underpants, the studio behind Dogman is being really great in staying true to the books. I think it would have been really easy to make it so Dogman talks and has a voice actor in this. He doesn't talk in the books, but I think it would have not been a stretch to assume that they would have done that and have some big name like Chris Pratt or something that pops up in these. So I give them kudos for sticking to the actual plot, and the trailer looks really good. It looks like it's sticking to the tone, and the animation looks really, really fun, and I think it'll be a fun one to check out. Very like nostalgic for people who maybe read it when they were younger, but then also kids who are currently reading it can check it out and love it. So I'm really excited for it, and yeah, I just think the studio behind Captain Underpants and Dogman, they always do a great job of staying true to the material, the source material, and the tone of that, and that's really respectful, I feel like, and gets you excited for it. So I think it looks cute, and I'm excited to check it out. Next up, we have Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, which is the 4th installment in the Bridget Jones series of films. I've never seen any of these personally, and I know a lot of people are attached to them, and then there's also discourse about how, like, casting Renee Zellweger as like a perfectly fine, like she looked fine, but then acting like she's so overweight definitely had damage on a lot of people, but I know a lot of people love this series. I, for one, have never gone into it. Like I said, never really been interested in it. I'm not a love triangle girly, so that's obviously why it's coming out in Valentine's Day of next year. I do think that's a big stretch though, because I was researching the book when looking this up, and I don't want to spoil if you don't know, but they do something that I personally do not like as a trope, and I think most people do not like as a trope. I will just say, and take from this what you will, Colin Firth is not in this movie. So I feel like it's gonna anger a lot of people, but it is based on the book in the series. Like, she wrote this book, so the true fans know what is going on. I just think maybe people who don't follow along with the books, who enjoy this series, are gonna be a bit upset when they find out what happens. So best of luck on Valentine's Day with getting your heart broken. After that, we have The Amateur, which is going to be coming out April 11th and stars Oscar winner Rami Malek and Rachel Brosnahan, who is also going to be Lois Lane in Superman next year, so she has an exciting year coming up. It's actually based on a 1981 novel by Robert Littell. I know those kind of like spy-esque books are always big, like no matter when they came out. I feel like every year there's at least a movie or a TV series that gets based on like something that my dad's like, oh my gosh, I used to watch this in the 80s or read this in the 80s, and then it comes to this year's. I think the cast sounds really interesting. The premise too is, I think, somewhat familiar, but it's a tried and true formula that works, so it makes sense. It's about a CIA cryptographer who is played by Rami Malek, who loses his wife, and the agency that he works for is like, nah, you can't go after them, like, we're not going to prosecute the people that did this. So he blackmails them essentially into being like, let me go after them myself, and trains to go after them, and very Taken-esque of like getting that revenge, but like I said, it's kind of a tried and true method that people love a good revenge story. So I think it'll do pretty well, if anything, with like my dad's age group, because they just eat those movies up, like seriously. A movie that I'm really excited for is Mickey 17, which is from the director of Parasite. It's his next movie after Parasite, which, as we know, won all the awards. It's starring Robert Pattinson. It is based on the book Mickey 7, which is about like this guy who just like clones of himself, essentially like, come, get killed, and then you just make another clone. But the premise is that one of the clones does not actually die before they make the next clone, so now there's two clones just kind of freaking out over the fact that they're clones and that there's two of them. I love Robert Pattinson. I think he's such a great actor. If you've seen the trailer, he's got a goofy little accent, and everyone agrees that when you say Robert Pattinson in a goofy little accent, it's going to be a good movie. They've actually flat out said that it is pretty different from the book, but the author has like said he likes the direction that the director is going in, and he thinks it sounds interesting and all that. So I'm excited to check it out. The trailer came out recently, and it was really fun, I thought, and like I said, like the Robert Pattinson accent just completely sold me on it. It did just recently get moved to April 18th, but I think that's more of just a kind of release date of trying to get like a better time frame, since it was originally January, which is usually for the most part, unless it's a kids movie like Dogman, where movies go to die, okay? Unless it's like a horror movie from Blumhouse or a kids movie, you don't put a release in January unless you're not expecting it to do good. I think it makes more sense, and I think it'll do very, very well. Next up, we have The Bad Guys 2, which is a sequel to The Bad Guys. That is another kids novel that I, again, read with one of my younger siblings, and it's a really cute story. I really like it. This is obviously a sequel to The Bad Guys, which was really cute. I like the animation style that they did for that, and the whole cast is returning, and they're also adding Natasha Lyonne into it, who, if you've ever seen DC League of Super Pets, which I don't know why you would, but it's actually quite a funny movie, Natasha Lyonne as the turtle is my favorite character. She has two parts in particular that make me laugh more than probably any movie has made me laugh in the last 5 years. Like, it's just amazing, so I'm excited to see her. It comes out August 1st, 2025. There's not a ton known about the plot or anything like that, but it is going to be a DreamWorks film, so I'm excited to see, because I think the first one was pretty cute. It doesn't have like a lasting impact, I know, like I don't hear people talk about as much as like Shrek or like How to Train Your Dragon or all that, but it's a cute movie, and I'm excited to see the sequel. Now, that's kind of it, again, like I said, for things that have a confirmed release date of 2024. There are other things, though, that have a best chance of coming out in 2024 that just haven't had official release dates. So first up, we have what I would probably say is a safe guess of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3. Filming recently wrapped for that season. The way people are talking too, it's like, I guess the last season, which makes sense because 3 books, 3 seasons, but I thought maybe they could continue it or make it longer. I don't know. So this will be a goodbye, I guess, to Belly, Jeremiah, Conrad, all that stuff, and it's going to be based on the 3rd book in the series, which is, of course, will always have summer, and it's not a great season if they follow the books. I shouldn't get so gleeful, because maybe like I'll be watching this in the summer and be like, oh, you really thought wrong. It's not a great season for Jeremiah, most likely, and I'm just kind of excited because I felt bad for Conrad last season. Belly and Jeremiah are gonna get married in the book, and then just stuff happens, and I don't know how much they'll follow along with that because obviously it's a lot to put in like 10 episodes, but I'm excited. It's been, we were supposed to have them this year, obviously, I would think, but then the writer's strike and everything delayed it, so I like that they still continue to put it out in the summer. So if I had to guess, summer 2025 is when we're going to see the final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Another one that I think has a good chance of coming out in 2025, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out in 2026, is Percy Jackson: The Sea of Monsters. They're currently filming that. We have Talia, we have Tyson cast, and there's a lot of momentum and hype for that. I don't know if it would come out maybe like the end of next year, since they're currently filming and obviously like editing and stuff, these episodes takes a long time, but it's going to be based on the second book in the series, The Sea of Monsters. The first season was really, really fun, and it was really great, I feel, to see like a mix of getting a nice adaptation of Percy Jackson and then adding in like new elements, fixing things that maybe didn't go great in the book the first time around, like Medusa and stuff like that, and I just think the hype for this series is very, very high, and the sooner we get this out and get more seasons filmed, the better, because the cast is going to start to get old and everything like that, and we don't want another Stranger Things on our hands. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out more towards the end of next year, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it comes out more towards the beginning of 2026. There are also a couple things that, as far as I can tell, have been completed filming and just still don't have release dates. I'm not sure how the whole thing works, like studio-wise and everything like that, if it's like you make a movie but then you're still trying to shop it around to people who want to see it or anything like that. But one in particular that I found is Marked Men, which is based on the book by Jay Crownover. It's directed by the same guy who did The Notebook, so I mean it's got some names behind it. It's also starring Chase Stokes from Outer Banks and more recently Uglies, who's like cornering the market on book to movie adaptations, and I'm not mad about that at all. Rule is a book that I literally read when I was in like high school, and this movie has been, from what I could tell, production wrapped in late 2022. So we're going on 2 years now that this movie's just been sitting in limbo. I think the perfect time to release it is now, because it's got like that like romantic element of it. It's kind of a book that would do great on Book Talk if it ever does have a resurgence on Book Talk. Like it's that like bad boy, studious girl, wrong side of the tracks, like they shouldn't fall for each other but they do, you know? So I'm just like, release the movie, guys. I just want my little romantic, like, fun movie to watch, and it's just interesting that that hasn't been released yet. There's also another one which I in particular have been banging on the walls to get, which is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. This was announced like back in 2022, I want to say, and it's starring Kit Connor from Heartstopper and Maya Raffikio from the Pretty Little Liars, the reboot that I really, really like. I was so excited when this was announced. They shared some photos of Maya and Kit, and it just seemed really, really cute. Where's the movie? Like, it's supposed to be a Netflix movie. It's unclear if there's a buyer or not. There's some talk of maybe Lionsgate got it and changed the name, but then people are saying no, Netflix still has it and is just waiting. But again, it seems like a perfectly fun movie that, like, if you actually promoted it and, like, got people hyped for it. Like, Kit Connor is hot right now. Like, he's a hot commodity. He's in Romeo and Juliet. He's in Heartstopper. Like, there's no reason to not release it, and I just don't understand why this is out in the ether somewhere, and some producer is sitting on it and is not snatching it up, because I think it would do really, really good if they promoted it well. I'm still salty about Netflix just, like, dropping Along for the Ride by Sarah Destin and not saying anything about it, so that movie didn't make any noise, and I hope that this does not happen in this case with A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow, because it's such a cute book, and the cast just looks so fun, and just release the dang movie already, okay? Last up, as far as I can tell, in the I think has been filmed what is actually happening with the movie TV show, is We Were Liars, which is based on a 2014 novel that I hated. But I'm still excited for the show to come out. Like, even if I hated a book, unless it's like a Colleen Hoover book, I'll still check out the adaptation of it. And this is also starring Emily Allen Lind from the Ghostbusters movie that came out this year. So I am excited for it, and there's been like some movement for it online. Like, Amazon randomly posts like, hey, here's our liars, without any update of when it's actually coming out. I would say, again, it feels like it would work well as a summer show, but I don't know if Amazon would then want The Summer I Turned Pretty and this show airing at the same time. It seems like if they think they're both going to be big hits, they'd want to stretch that out. The other thing this one has going for it is Julie Plec of Vampire Diaries and Originals and all that fame is producing it. So I feel like this is, like, again, a no-brainer, and I think it's very clear that Amazon is trying to find something to fill that hole that The Summer I Turned Pretty is going to leave when it ends, because they also recently announced that they're going to be adapting the Elle Kennedy campus series, which is like The Deal and all that, into a TV series. So I feel like maybe they're going to wait to see how The Summer I Turned Pretty last season plays out and then drop this one. But it's just like, it's just annoying, especially with TV shows, that it's like, I'm going to see this show, it does well, best case scenario, and then I have to wait 2 years for another season because you waited 2 years for airing this season. So there's just confusion with that. Now let's look at movies that I honestly have no idea when they're coming out, or they're coming out not next year, but the year after in 2026. First up, we've got The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. This is Hamish's game. I'm so excited, even though it's going to break my heart. It was announced that this one is going to be coming out November 20th, 2026. The same day that they announced the book, The Power You Have, Suzanne Collins. Oh my gosh. It's rumored that Mike Fast, I don't know how you say his name, is going to be playing Hamish, which I personally love that. I love because he is also just like a great actor. Loved him in Panicked. Challengers was amazing. But I also love the connection of if he is Hamish because him and Rachel Zegler, who obviously played Lucy Gray, were in West Side Story together and are like really close friends. So I just think that would be so cute if like they both ended up playing characters in Hunger Games. We also have People We Meet on Vacation from Emily Henry. Unknown release date as of now, but starring Tom Blythe of Hunger Games fame and Emily Bader of My Lady Jane fame. There have been a bunch of set pics coming out and like just pics of people hanging out the set, and it looks phenomenal, and I'm so excited. This is the first of like all the Emily Henry adaptations that we're getting, because like I said before, they're all in various stages of being adapted. After that, I have The Woman in Cabin 10, which is my favorite Ruth Ware novel, so I'm quite excited that this is getting adapted. And not only is it getting adapted, but it's starring Keira Knightley, of all people, as the main character. That's right, bow down. It is going to be on Netflix, so that means it'll probably be hot for like a week and then not at all. There's an Amy Adams one that, like, again, I love Amy Adams, but my gosh, that one she was in, it was like, I don't remember what it was, but it was such a bad movie. So I really hope that that does not go down this case and they do this one justice, because I love this book. It's about a woman on a ship who sees this other person like jump overboard, pushed overboard, unclear, but just like go overboard. And then when she tells people like, hey, I saw someone in that cabin like disappear, everyone's like, what are you talking about? There's no one's in that cabin. Like, it's an empty cabin. And, you know, the gaslighting is real and trying to find this, like, what actually happened. But it's just such a compelling story and so cool. Then we've got everyone's favorite. Bridgerton Season 4 is currently filming. They've said it's probably not going to be out until 2026, which is wild, but it's Benedict's season. We've got Sophie cast, and I'm just really having, like, high hopes, but also very not optimistic that it's going to be a good season, considering how season 3 just took a complete nosedive. I really love Benedict and Sophie, and like the set pics we've seen of them seem really cute and their chemistry seems great. So I hope it's good, but am I gonna get excited that it's good? No. Then we have The Twits, which is supposed to be coming out on Netflix in 2025. It is from the director of Ralph Breaks the Internet, which don't get too excited because remember that is the second Wreck-It Ralph, which I think we can all agree is not as good. It's starring Natalie Portman and Emilia Clarke, so great casting there, and it is based on a Roald Dahl novel. After that, we have Cat in the Hat, which is... which has a release date of March 6th, 2026. It is going to be starring Bill Hader as the Cat in the Hat, as well as Quinta Brunson and Bowen Yang. Little is known about this. I will say that the Cat in the Hat movie is kind of a classic, the one that I grew up with, honestly, but it's also terrifying. Like, let's be real, it's terrifying. But I feel like if anyone can pull off being Cat in the Hat, it's Bill Hader, and I'm interested to see more. I don't know if, like, I'd actually go and see it myself, but I'm interested to, like, see what it's gonna look like. Next, we have one that I think is gonna fall in like the Nicole Kidman Big Little Lies one for the audience, which is The Hunting Wives. It's gonna be on Starz, but it has an unknown release date. It's starring Malin Ackerman and Brittany Snow, and it's about this woman who moves to a small town in Texas and becomes engrossed with this group of wives known as the Hunting Wives, becomes obsessed with the leader. Murder happens, you know, those kind of like, again, White Lotus, Big Little Lies. I think it's going to fill that hole if you're interested in it. I don't know if I'd check it out, but it definitely sounds intriguing, and I always love when Britney Snow is on stuff. Then, speaking of cool, we also have Long Bright River, which has an unknown release date, but it's going to be on Peacock. It stars Amanda Seyfried, and it's based on the novel of the same name by Liz Moore, who is also working on the TV show, so I feel like that's pretty cool. It's about two sisters on the opposite side of a drug epidemic, like one's a police officer and one's an addict, and then the addict sister disappears and the police officer like goes... They're just obsessed with finding her. I love Amanda Seyfried. I feel like she's such a great actor, and I feel like she's absolutely going to slay in this role. Another one that's supposed to be coming out next year on Netflix is The Electric State. It has a March release date, like not an actual one, but just like March when I looked it up, and it's starring Millie Bobby Brown. That's it. There's no one else in this one that you have to worry about. And it's about a girl who is approached by a robot to look for her missing brother, and her and the robot set out to find him. I'm sure there's way more to it, but it's based on the 2018 graphic novel of the same name. So I don't know. I love Millie Bobby Brown, but like I said, some of the other people who are not listed in this movie, because I chose not to list them, are gonna probably keep me from watching them. We also have Frankenstein, which has an unknown release date, but surprisingly is gonna be on Netflix. I still can't feel like that's true, but that's what I saw online. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's gonna star Mia Goth, Oscar Isaac as Frankenstein, and Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster. Don't run at the idea of Jacob Elordi, please. He is the only one that I'm like, ugh. But if anyone should play Frankenstein's monster, it's like 6'5" Jacob Elordi. So I feel like this is actually a role that he was, dare I say, born for. After that, we have the animated movie Wildwood. It has an unknown release date, but it's based on the story of two 7th graders who are drawn into a hidden magical forest while trying to rescue a baby kidnapped by crows. It's based on the 2011 book of the same name by Colin Meloy and illustrated by Carson Ellis. I have not read this, but my friend has and really, really loves it. So I think if it's like really pretty animation, like kind of like The Wild Robot, it could be really, really fun. We also have Klara and the Sun, which also has an unknown release date, but is starring Jenna Ortega, Amy Adams, and Natasha Lyonne again. Good for you, Natasha Lyonne. It's directed by Taika Waititi, and it's based on the 2021 novel of the same name. There's also 3 random ones that I literally could not find anything more than the fact that they're getting made, but they were interesting to me. There's a Netflix animated adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, also from Taika Waititi. There's an animated adaptation of Animal Farm from Andy Serkis, which I think sounds amazing. And then of course there's a Greta Gerwig adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia that we're getting. I don't know if it's a rumor or confirmed, but Saoirse Ronan is apparently cast in it. And I'm super, super excited. I'm super excited to see the cast. I'm excited to see all of it. I love Chronicles of Narnia, and I feel like that franchise did not get its full due when it came out because we were begging for movies essentially. Like we were like, please release more. And I'm just excited at the fact that we might get the whole series now. So I'm really excited. Is that all of them? So yeah, there you go. Those are the book to movie adaptations that I could find online. Like I said, I tried mainly to stick to ones that either had like a lot of hype around them or had a cast, a film, release date, something like that, because I know, again, it's so fickle. Like Cinder apparently has a script, but I haven't seen anything outside of that it's going to be an animated series or movie. I'm not even sure. You just never know until it's like actually in front of you, which is why, again, I think it was so hard to find ones that had like confirmed release dates, even if it was, because look at the ones that got filmed and then it's still just sitting on a shelf there. So yeah, let me know which one you are most looking forward to in the coming years. If there's one that I missed that you know about, let me know that, because like I said, I'm always keeping an eye out for these, and I just think they're so fun to see how they're adapted and changed. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!